Welcome to the first three-man meta video. I'm your host, Danny Adlam, aka D-Dan Black, aka UK National Champion. I just like to throw that in where I can. This is going to be a new series where I just go through and I talk about some releases from FFG. We're just going to start with the most recent one, which is Your First Steps, which is the deeper insight into the two starter sets that we're getting with Star Wars Legacy. The next set, which is due out mid-December. It's a bit soon. Wallace just recovered from Empire Wars, so we'll dive straight in. I've not done any reviews of any of these characters yet, so we're just going to go through every card that's in this set, starting with Boba Fett. He's been talked about quite a lot already, so I'm just going to keep it nice and simple. Is he better than Django? Yes. His die is better. He does more damage. The disrupt side is a bit of a letdown, and not being able to activate out faster than your opponent hasn't been relevant for the last two sets. And I feel the 50% damage side to roll damage is just going to be better. I mean, he's going to be good. Will him and Captain Phasma have a deck? It's hard to say. I always hate stipulating about how great characters are going to be before you can really see what the sets are going to have. But he's a good starter deck character. I mean, he's Boba Fett. I think he's better than Django. Django's got that plus resource side, which is not good unless you're running salvage stand and it lets you bait and switch a bit easier. But I'd rather just have a side that just does damage, right? Even if you roll out your own die, you're going to guarantee yourself probably 2, if not 3 damage from Boba's special. So he's just good. We're going to move on. Stormtrooper. Again, a lot of people talked about him. He's 9. It's 9 health for 9 points. It's tough. 9 is a very awkward space. Like he's got 3 black damage sides. He's got the 1 range, the 2 range, and the 3 indirect. You know, it really does depend on how well indirect damage does come down to whether or not this character is going to be great. But for 1 more point, you can take a Death Trooper, which does more damage. He doesn't generate money, though. The thing that makes the First Order Stormtrooper so good is that he's 7 points, and I just don't know if we're gonna see the Stormtrooper. But he's great in the starter deck with Boba. You get all the dice sides in the game apart from discard. So, you know, in a vacuum, Boba and Stormtrooper, great introduction to the game because it's showing you all the different sides almost to the dice. Now we're going to get on to some new stuff. The new Slave 1. So 3 cost. Okay. It's cheap. That's all right. I can do a 3 cost upgrade support now, especially with Empire at War. 2 damage. 2 indirect damage. 3 indirect damage for $1. It's a bit... that's not great. Shield. Yeah. Resource. Yeah. Good. Cool. So I can still bait and switch this. Power action, reroll 1 of your yellow die. Okay, so we've got Jabba's ability. When you then may remove an opponent's die equal to the value shown on the die you just rerolled. That is good. The fact that there are two sides, it's got a 3 side if you get really stuck. Worst case scenario. You've got the shield and the resource, and that's only if you're re-rolling Slave 1. If you're playing this with like IG-88, then he's got more access to 3 sides. There's going to be so many more characters. Like we've only seen one yellow character from the actual core set, which is Dr. Aphra, whose sides aren't great for this, but yeah, it's solid, right? The action to let you reroll a die without having to discard a card is good, and it's even better when that then has a meaningful ability behind it. So, yeah, thumbs up for Slave 1. Is it better than its older counterpart? Probably, because the special on the original Slave 1 is very easy to play around. You're unlikely to ever hit your opponent for huge damage for that special. So, I think I like this card. It's good. It's got a good power action. Wrist Rockets, which is I'm not sure. It's 3 cost, no redeploy. That's a bit sketchy. 2 damage, 4 indirect for $1 is much better than 3 for $1. Discard, okay. Resource is good, and the special, which is deal 2 damage to a character. You may spend 1 resource to deal 2 damage to a character. That is really good. Being able to split the damage does allow you to do things with like endless pursuits. Sometimes it's just going to be good that you've almost killed one of their characters, so you can rocket one and then just start chipping away on the other. Paying 1 resource for 4 damage is great. The thing that hurts this is that it's a 3 cost and it hasn't got redeploy, which is just so important. There's so many more weapons that we have now with redeploy that losing the tempo of and the resources when a character dies with an upgrade like this feels bad. But you can always override this into a redeploy as they're about to die. That can always happen. So I like it. I think it is a bit low in damage. It's got 50% sides, but 2 of them you have to pay for if you want any real damage out of them. So I'm 50-50. I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't think you'll see it a lot. Next up, we've got Locked and Loaded, which is our red event. Spot a red character to turn 2 of your dice, showing indirect damage. Now, with the recent nerfs to Heat a Battle and It's a Trap has the caveat of it's Lost Ambush, so now it's just turn 2 of your dice to a side showing on your opponent. So you're looking to do that to either range or melee. Generally, you're doing that for damage. So this is a less stipulation version of that if you're just purely going for the indirect damage. And Heat a Battle is garbage. You're never going to see that card again. It could be good. The fact that it's only turn your dice to the side, and then it's like, well, then do I actually have these dice just sat here that you can mess with them? If they're big enough sides, maybe it's harder for them to do that. Most of these cards like lightsaber training and all this kind of stuff where it's like flip your sides to damage, we don't see unless you can cheat that extra way. And it being a red event, I don't see it being played. Next up, we've got Crash Landing, which is a nice bit of red removal, actually. So you remove a die showing damage, either range, melee, or indirect. Then deal indirect damage to yourself equal to the value on that die. Now, red removal, especially for hero, is really bad. So this actually is pretty good. So as some of you, if you've listened to our podcast, know that I'm a big fan of Phasma and the Guardian keyword, because what that allows you to do is control where the damage is going. Now, if you've got a Vader who's just rolled out a 3 sticks, or you've got a Mace who's rolled out his 4 sticks, or you've got a big damage side, being able to go get our Crash Landing, I'll remove that 3 and I'll do 1 damage to each of my 3 characters is so much better than all of it going on to 1. So Crash Landing, fantastic card. You're going to see it. Next up, the first battlefield. Force an opponent to lose 1 resource. Yeah, it's good. Whether or not it's great, a lot of decks spend their money, apart from the decks that try to amass tons of money. So, your Hungry Hippos, your Jabba Unkars. It's probably going to be good against. It's kind of the counter to Moisture Farm. It's okay. Because you're affecting your opponent's state, which could even, in turn affect you. If you're trying to save money, I think it's too much of a double-edged sword to see constructive play unless you're playing a real niche deck then that can guarantee this claim and for it to have a meaningful effect in the meta against the decks that you're playing against. I think there's too many ifs. I don't think you'll see this battlefield anywhere. Next up, we've got the Unlikely Hero card, because he has hero printed in the bottom. He's villain, right? All these sides, all his actions say that he should be a villain card. People have talked about Luke a lot. He's a great closer, just even at 11 points to go, oh, I've rolled the 2 range, I'm going to just slam 2 resources, that's 4 damage, and even get the 3 damage out of his other 2 damage sides. Early on in the game, it's not that impactful. It really needs a good strong character to go with. So maybe, new Obi-Wan and this Luke could be good, although I think new Obi-Wan Mavs is going to be much better. He's good. For 14 points, he's really good. We just need some really nice 16-point pairings to go with him, because Leia is fine, but she's not at the power level that the current characters are sitting at. It's like playing Veers now. You're not going to do it. Right, next up, Han Solo. A lot of people have been bad-mouthing Han, he's not that great, and I would tend to agree with them. The fact that you've got to pay for one of his damage sides, he's got a +1 resource. you know, you can play Elite Han, Elite Chewie now, so people will do that. And he's got a better ability than Jabba, being able to reroll and any die rather than just the yellow die. That's quite impactful. But I think his dice are just too bad for a 14-point character, and you're probably not going to see him outside fluff decks where you're running him with Chewie. So we're into our first hero card now. So 2 points. Okay, that's quite a lot of money. 1 shield, 1 resource, 1 resource. Special. To play, spot a blue character. So the special is turn one of your die to any side. You may reveal a blue card from your hand to turn an opponent's die to any side. So it's like a built-in, like, double use the force, which I am not keen on. If this was a 1-cost upgrade, you would probably see it played, but you know, just rolling you like a money or a shield, or being able to turn one of your die, and then if you've got the other blue card, turning one of your opponent's die. Soft removal is not very good in this game. It just allows your opponent just to discard, to re-roll it back into something that's more meaningful for them. So Force Focus gets the thumbs down from me. Not enjoying it. This card, however, is freaking amazing. So it's the Heirloom lightsaber. You got 3 black damage sides, a 1, a 2, and a 3, a shield, and a money, with a great ability, really. This upgrade has the redeploy keyword when it is on a blue character. Considering that most of the hero side at the moment we're talking about is mono blue, you tend not to mix blue and something else unless you're playing like Rey K2. Means that it's constantly just going to be darting around the board, and with its 3 black damage sides, it allows you to play more plus modified sides on your other lightsabers easier. It has redeploy, so it's constantly just bouncing around the board. In my Kanan Jedi Instructor Padawan deck, this would totally go in it. It's really great. For villains, again, really solid. They tend to have more mixed, or did previously. You stick this on Kylo, you kill Kylo, goes over to FN. Back in the old days, would have been good. Even this on FN would have been great, even if it didn't have the redeploy. But now we're going to probably start seeing less and less two hero pair-ups for villains, that at least only have 3 die. So, and we're going to see more of a 3 and 4 person meta kind of come out of the game. And if that stays true for legacies as well, Heirloom lightsaber is going to be great, because it's going to just be at least getting redeployed once, because you're always going to play on your blue man first. Really good card. We're going to see it a lot. The new Millennium Falcon, and it is the new one because it's got the rectangle dish on it, and it's on Jakku, which is also a bit of a giveaway. So it's got 2 range, 3 range, 4 indirect for a buck. Cool. I really feel like 4 indirect damage for a resource is kind of where you want to have to start paying it from. I don't think 3 indirect damage for a buck is really worth it. 2 shields, good. 2 resources, good. It's got a blank now rather than having a special, which is a bit feels bad, but it's got a really nice ability where after you activate the support, you may activate one of your characters. So you can roll out Millennium Falcon, roll out Maz, and then do some fixing, which is really good. It's really interesting to see that normally you have to equip an upgrade to a character to roll them out to be able to then, you know, activate a support. So it's nice that we're seeing that treatment in reverse. So that supports are now going to help themselves be quicker. Especially if you infamous this out, you could infamous roll it out, activate Maz, fix stuff. I really like it. You can't do disgusting things with the special anymore, but it's only 4 resources now. You know, with the supports we had in Empire at War, it's only easier to get these 4-cost vehicles out. So big thumbs up. I really like it. It's good. Impulsive. Ambush. Okay. Resolve one of your die. This card is great. This is Kanan's ability on a stick. And it allows you to resolve a focus, then, resolve like actions, damage, like resolve an action then. So you can do all your melee damage. It allows you to gain money to then pay for a side that you might desperately need. It's a fantastic card. Whether or not you see it in a lot of decks really determines on what your deck is trying to do. But you will see it because it's such a powerful ability, being able to resolve a die and then gain some momentum from that. As you can see with Kanan, who's only going to get better now the FAQ changed. If you haven't played any Kanan since the FAQ swap, do it. His ability is really strong. He's better than Rey. So we've got 2 cards left. We've got Maz's Vault. This is really interesting. So each player gains 1 additional resource during the upkeep phase. Now, giving your opponent extra resources is bad, but it gives you extra resources. And if you're playing characters like Ezra, who allows you to steal your opponent's resources, or you're playing salvage stands to get people to your opponents to lose their resources, this could be in a really nice space. It costs nothing and gains you money. And if you're playing these cards that allow you to steal your opponent's money, then it only gets more and more value. So Maz's Vault, I really like it. I'm definitely going to look into like a schemey steal your money deck when this set drops. I think it's really cool, and I think having that additional money is going to be really, really powerful. So lastly, we've got the Last Battlefield, which I'm not a huge fan of. Gain 1 resource and draw a card. Now, Moisture Farm lets you gain a resource, and drawing a card after you've claimed, okay, it then lets you be able to discard that and let you dig a little bit deeper. So it's kind of like a half Maz's Castle, half Moisture Farm, but you're actually having to discard that card to dig deeper. You're not pulling out the bottom of your deck. I don't like it. Or when you're gaining that additional card, if your opponent can just mind probe you, or it's just you're gonna draw the card and go, that's not the card I need. At the end of my round, I'm going to discard it so I can dig a bit deeper in my deck. If your deck needs to do that, then you're going to be running Maz's Castle. I just don't see it. I don't like this battlefield. It just doesn't sit well with me. But yeah, I think that is the last one. So we'll leave it there. Yeah, we're back to Boba. This is just kind of my quick initial rundown of each card. I want to keep these videos fairly short, because who wants to hear me talk for half an hour with my awful lisp and my awful accent? So thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.